Hey everybody, it's Brian, back in the shop, just finishing up some of those FC pieces that we started yesterday. There's the rear cab corner. We've got this little patch panel. This is the back of the cab. That'll attach over there. That connects to the other side of the cab corner. See, we got it flanged and bent all around. And that goes on this side of the cab corner. And we got this little guy made. That's a tricky little flange there, but did that on the flanger. Got the top punched out just right. And that one attaches right there. So we're making progress on the FC stuff. And but today we're working on a motor mount job. I was supposed to do this last week for a guy, but I had to get that FC stuff done. Here's your standard Willys, let's see, CJ2A, 3A, 3B, CJ5 engine mount. And that's probably the condition you find a lot of them. So these don't really work out great. Now if you're doing an accurate restoration, I don't know, an MB, GPW, CJ2A, early one like that, and you're doing an accurate restoration, you can send these out and have them re-vulcanized, and that's probably the only way to get a good looking motor mount. The new ones come in from everywhere and anywhere. A lot of them are coming in from India right now, and they don't last. They can't take the heat or anything, so there really isn't a good quality engine mount out there. So it's been a problem. A lot of people are complaining. I stopped selling all the junk ones years ago because they were so bad. And I approached a lot of companies about making me some urethane ones, but nobody felt that there was a need for it, or there wasn't enough, they wouldn't sell enough. So I tried making some of my own out of urethane. Not really happy with the quality of urethane. So I came up with this one. It doesn't look the same, and if you're not doing an authentic restoration, this is a very good way to go. They last forever. I've been using these for years, and I could have made it square and this and that, but you know, something, the round one, just it works just fine. That's a polyurethane mount, and I'll show you how we make these. And once you put one of those in there, they last forever. I've had them going for years, and they can get oil and grease and gasoline on them, and nothing's going to harm that urethane. So the first thing I did was take, that's two pieces of 3/16 plate sandwiched together, and I drilled the center hole and the two mounting holes. You see those? Let me get that on there. That's where it mounts. And just laid it out. That's the base of that one that I copied. And I've got them sandwiched together with some bolts in them. I'm going to head over to the sander, round them out, make them even, and we'll get building from there. Okay, I'm over here on the 30-inch Oliver double disc sander, and we're just going to take these and even them up, round them out, and get them ready to start working on. Okay, we're fresh off the sander. We've got two identical pieces here. And basically, that's a copy of that. I used 3/16 plate instead of this thin sheet metal type piece they had here. And what we're going to do is cut a couple of discs like this. I'll take this one apart in a second. That's kind of tight. I'll take this one apart and show you what we're going to make. We'll head over to the lathe and start cutting that stuff. Here's the pieces we need to make this setup here. We've got a couple of grade 8 bolts here. That's going to be our center. It's going to act like this piece right here. It's going to come all the way up through. And this is the critical part. Polyurethane. I get it in rod form like this and then just bore a hole in it. This is machinable. You could play around with different diameters. Engine mounts, you could go anywhere on the A scale from 70 to maybe 85 or so. But you can pick what you like there. I like this one. It's machinable and it works out real nice. So I'm already started on the lathe getting these cups machined. These are 5/16 tall basically, and they've got a recess to accept the polyurethane down in them, and then another one goes on top. So we're getting ready to machine that now. We'll head over there and I'll turn the camera back on for you. Here we are over at the Monarch lathe. I've got my big boring bar in there, and we're just going to start to cut that recess. The material is a piece of 4140 round stock, and we're just going to start to put the recess in there now. Okay, so that's how we're going to make our upper and lower heavy washer. We're only going to go about 140 thousandths deep here, and then we're going to part it off at 5/16, and we need 4 of these to make a set of motor mounts. So I'm going to get busy on this. I won't bore you with showing you the whole process here, but that's how we get our recess in there, and I'll keep moving on that and get right back with you. Okay, we got the first one board, 140 thousandths deep, and we want it to fit this fairly snug. So that's going to press right in there nice when we squeeze it together, and we'll have the bolt coming up through it, and it can't get out the sides at all. And it'll be, when you squeeze it down, it'll swell a little bit and lock it right in there, so no chance of that moving in or out. So we're going to set up to part this off. That's a lot of material to part off, but we'll set up with some new inserts I got, and we'll get this washer off here. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, I can't really get you in here too good without holding the camera, but we're cutting off at 5/16 here, and I've got a new insert in. I'm just going to feed by hand. Seems to be cutting very well. You can see we've got a deep cut to make, so I'm going to have to put the camera down and finish that up. But that's the basic procedure. We're just going to part that right off and then make 3 other ones identically the same, and we'll meet you back over at the bench and show you the next step. Okay, we'll see you over at the bench. Alright, we're fresh off the lathe with our 4 washer cups here, and the bottom one, I think you can see it here. The bottom one gets welded to your plate, just like that, and then the top one sandwiches in there. The bolt's going to go up through the bottom of this. that bolt's a little big to fit in the frame of your Jeep there, so we're going to round it off. And I learned on that last set that we need to thin it out a little bit. So we'll take those over to the lathe after we get done cutting the polyurethane. I got that chucked up in the lathe right now, and we'll go cut the polyurethane to size. Okay, we're going to bore that polyurethane out now. Okay, that should be enough. We're probably going to cut these around 1 inch, 125. So we'll get ready to part those off now. Okay, there's our polyurethane board. I want to show you the kind of fit you want in there. You don't want it too tight, and you don't want it too loose. So you want that to be light thumb pressure in, and that's it. No wobble or anything. You know, the material's flexible, but you don't want too big a hole in there. You don't want that slopping around at all. So just a perfect fit you want on your bolt. If you drill it, that's a 1/2 inch bolt. If you drill it exactly 1/2 inch, you're gonna have to hammer it in there. So just a few thousandths bigger than that, and you get the perfect fit. You want it to slide in there, and I take a little bit of the polyurethane spring bushing grease, and I put it in there. And I put it on the washers. I put that stuff all around. You don't want to squeak in there under the hood. So a little bit of that spring grease works perfect. Okay, I'm going to set up to part these off now. Okay, I think you can see that all right. Just freehanding it here. Now this stuff machines, but it doesn't machine like steel. So when we part it off, it may tend to wander a little bit. But we'll just come in on the disc sander and straighten out any waviness. So it's just going to kind of ball up like that. But we'll send it through and see what kind of surface we get. Okay, there it goes. Okay, not too terrible once you get the fuzzies off. So we'll cut another one of those, and I'll see you back at the bench. Okay, we'll give it just a quick cleanup on a disc sander. You can see what we're starting with. Okay, and there's our finished surface. Okay, these are ready to go into the washers now. Okay, we're here back at the bench. We've got our polyurethane cut, and this is how you want it to fit into the washers. That's gonna lock right in there and hold the washer on there. You want a nice fit there. We still got to get that little burr off from when we cut it, but you want a nice fit in your washers, so there's no chance anything moving around on you. Like I say, when we tighten that down and squeeze it, it's gonna pucker out a little bit. It's gonna lock right into place, but you want it to stick right in there. You want your machining to be accurate, and you want to cut your mounts the same, and you want everything to work out right, and you'll have a real good motor mount. And again, this isn't for the guy who's doing a restoration or anything. This is more for the guy who just wants good quality stuff that's going to last. So there is another option other than that foreign junk that you get all the time. And we're going to get these together. I'm going to machine the bolts next. We'll cut the flats off and thin it down a little bit. We'll do both bolts, and then we'll put them in here. We'll weld around the head, weld the bottom cup in, and we'll have a set of motor mounts. So I'm going to machine the bolts and be right back with you. Okay, there's the bolt after we're done getting the head the way we want it. We took a little bit on the thickness and we took the flats off and made it round. So you can see it next to the other one there. And that's what we want, and that'll fit down in the recess in the frame for where the motor mounts attach. Alright, I'll finish up with the other one and then we'll loosely put one together, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all together. Alright, we got a bunch of pieces finished up here. Let's put one of these together roughly. We're not going to weld it right now, but I'll just show you how I put it together. Get your base plate, and then that's going to get welded around there. Put your first cup on there. That's going to get welded right there, right there. And your mount goes on. Top mount goes on. And then I don't have a washer here, but this is there'll be a washer, and there'll be a locking nut. That's a lock nut right there, and that'll go on there. And when you're finished and everything's welded up, that's what you wind up with. And like I say, if you're doing something that you're going to be judged on, or you're trying to do a real authentic restoration, this won't be the right motor mount for you. But I've done so many of those kind of restorations, and yeah, they're fun, but sometimes they could get a little monotonous. And most of the ones I do for myself, I like to drive and enjoy. So I was so disappointed with what was out there for motor mounts. That's how we came up with this one. Had these in vehicles for a long time, and they just don't wear out. And it dampens any motor vibration real good, and I know you'll be happy with them. So if you feel like making a pair, there's the sequence to making it. And if you don't feel like making a pair and you need a pair, just give me a shout, give me a comment, and I can machine a pair for you and send them out to you. But like I say, they do last forever, and it's much better than the alternative. And this is a factory one, but the ones from India and the ones from Turkey and stuff, they just don't last. I've heard of guys only having them hang in there for one season. So, like I say, anything other than a real authentic restoration, and that's a great motor mount. Okay, well, drop me a comment, subscribe if you like. Let me know anything else you'd like to see. We're going to get back on that CJ3B welder Jeep body build. I had to do some of that FC stuff, and I needed to make a set of mounts for a guy, so we had to do that. But stay tuned, we'll get back on that body, I don't know, sometime next week, and I'll keep posting videos and keep telling me what you like. Okay, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.